All right, let's go. Taking a look here at the afternoon session. See what we got going on here. Did some trading this morning with my mentor, Hydra, and got in a win on my funded account. I'll take it. So I still have my an extra eval that I'm working on, wanting to hopefully get a trade in on that this afternoon. So let's see what's going on here. So this morning we were bullish, expecting price to come up into the new week opening gap. So here is 9:30. We wanted price to come up into the new week opening gap. So we had the Judas down and then this raging run up. So expectations were met. Now the question is, what does it want to do? What does it want to do? So let's examine the evidence and come up with a game plan. So the question is here. Let's look for a couple of things. Clean this up a little bit. I'm going to pull the new week opening gap off of here. It's possible that price doesn't do much other than consolidate this afternoon. I would consider, we have no news, no news day after that major drop in the last few days. It's possible that it just accumulates, but I'm also seeing some equal lows down here. I like that. We're above the original consolidation for the morning with a manipulation and then an expansion higher. Now looking at retesting the discount of this original consolidation. So I could see price wanting to tap down into there and then continue on upwards. But one thing I do want to look at ahead of that actually is let's just check for any SMTs. So maybe I'll want to check on something real quick over here. Computer's running a little slow. I don't know if it's the internet or the computer. But let's switch over to a higher time frame chart maybe. Let's do that. Oh, got no tunes. Hang on. I got no tunes. All right. Work. All right, so let's look over here on this chart. So the weekly dug into this BISI here. OTE. So I like that. Go to the daily. Similar kind of thing. What I wanted to see here on this chart is actually looking to see if we have any SMT forming. This thing's lagging a bit. Ooh, look at that. I doubt it, but just wanted to check since we had a 4-hour closure. And it's not even letting me do it. I'd have to stack them the other way. There we go. So we have this low here, this low there. Looking at the same. Oh, these aren't synced. That's what's going on. Let's see here. The settings for that are date rate. Okay. Boy, is it TradingView? Man, I saw TradingView is having some outage issues today. People were saying this thing was slow. Okay, so no SMT. No SMT. SMT. So we do have a higher time frame SMT. I want to mark out. I'll check it. That swing low to that. So yeah, between ES and NQ, we have an SMT. Okay. So that could be strong. You know, we have a what? Couple closures, several closures. So we do have a lot of bullish SMT right there. Kind of look around here. So here on the 4 hour, I'm really not like, look at that rejection block forming. That wick is a real bearish signature. Came up into this SIBI up here, tapped into that, and look at that. Ooh, gosh. We got an hour left on this 4 hour candle. This is the daily candle, but we got this 4 hour candle. Not that I haven't seen, I've seen it make wicks like that, rejection blocks, and then push on through them. But I'm gonna put this here. I don't know where it'll end up being. Maybe just to remember, come back and mark the rejection block when this candle closes. So go over to the other chart. Look at the 1 hour. Same kind of thing. Look at that. Look at that price action. We got this rejection block down here and this rejection block up here. Same thing. We tapped into midnight open. So, you know, the afternoon profile is what I'm trying to figure out. We have a couple options, you know. We had a manipulation and we had a rally higher in the morning. And the question is are we doing a continuation profile like so, where lunch takes out some liquidity in afternoon session, continues on for more highs? Or are we going to do a lunch session reversal, kind of like that? Or like I said, the other possibility is we come down to discount and then we just do nothing like this all afternoon. So those are the three possibilities I'm seeing, or that are possible. And I got to try to pick which one do I think is most likely. Let's look for any other SMTs. We got ES right here in this pane, and then YM on this pane. I've been noticing that YM SMTs with the NQ have been a lot more frequent the last couple week or so. So we do have a bullish SMT with YM. Do we have any bearish? Yeah, we do. At least with that wick. From this swing to that wick. SMT. Same thing on YM and on ES. So we do have a bearish SMT, which is that going to send it down to discount and then back up? Or is that going to send us down, down, down? So we're coming up on the end of the lunch session here. So pretty much we have the AM session high and low. One of those two was likely the target, obviously session low, session high. What did I want to look at? So we're above 9:30, we're above midnight open. Where did my, oh, there we go. So we have this breaker here, this accumulation zone, original consolidation. We met almost 4 standard deviations, which was pretty much my expectation for that, more than my expectation for that breaker. And then in terms of the standard deviations of Asia, coming up into 4, 4.5, that's about what I would expect for a daily low or a daily high. One more thing I wanted to check, gold Bach levels. Clean up the chart a little bit. So we're pushing into the high of this range. So we came up into the extension. That could be a liquidity grab right there. Oops. I'm getting kind of a mixed bias here. I really don't like how the 4-hour candle's closing. 1-hour candle is, 1 hour's telling me bullish, 15 minutes. All the lower time frames are bullish. The higher time frames, the weekly, the daily, they're bearish order flow, but they're at OTE and at internal range liquidity with a bullish SMT, where I would expect to see a potential reversal. So it's telling me, and we're building liquidity on both sides. So here we have some trendline liquidity on buy side, and then look at the sell side, just tons of equal lows. So I'm gonna wait, see what purges first, and that'll probably help me. And the other thing to consider is I'm considering this low probability conditions. So for me, I'm kind of thinking 1-to-1, low risk, even though it is an eval. I do want to kind of trade it a little more like I would a funded account, making sure I don't build any bad habits when I'm trading a challenge account or an eval account. Let's go over here. On this, I had this marked out in case this was going to flip into a bearish breaker. Let's just update the 15-minute chart. We're looking at this fair value gap right here. Mark it as a fair value gap. The 1 hour is already tapped into this fair value gap, gotten a nice response out of there. So we'll keep an eye on this fair value gap right here. The new week opening gap, we'll add that back on the chart. And then here's this 5-minute bullish breaker. It keeps retesting it. So let's see what happens. Had that blue line right there. Yeah, I wanted to mark the 1 o'clock candle opening. So I sometimes like to look at the hourly opens. Sometimes I don't like them on my chart because they can, these markings of each hourly open can clutter things up. But it's nice to see in terms of power of 3, like this. Oh, wow, look at that. I wonder if it's slow. Cut off. So we're taking Look at that. That's just unbelievable. That's like this morning. Go down to the 30-second chart and it's still not even probably tradable. Look at that. Wow. Like you just can't, I can't do much with that. Gosh. A 1 minute candle. $1,100 tick 1 minute candle. Unreal. Stuff's just unreal. I mean, I've not been trading forever. I've been trading the NQ for almost a year now. Looking at crypto the year before. But, you know, these candles, these 1 minute candles between 200 and 1,000 ticks, I've just not seen anything like that. And I've always traded micros because I like the flexibility over minis. I can get my risk a little more dialed in. I can take partials a little easier. So I'm okay on micros here, but it's interesting how it's stretching even my ability to use micros. All right, so we got the daily, weekly low, support and resistance kind of idea right there. Gosh. Let's see what it does, because you're kind of forming... I'd consider this like a high probability breaker. And then, so there's a low. This is a breaker on the 1 minute here. Inversion, fair value. I'm assuming that to be a fair value gap for now. It might invert it. Oh, I wanted to check for SMT. I don't know if it's the stream or my computer or what. Trading view, it is just being laggy. I wonder if it's the streams like that. And if it keeps doing this, I don't know. All right, so we have boom, boom, no SMT really. Slight, I wouldn't count that, but from here to there is SMT. Here to there. So wick, that's not great. I'm still assuming we put in several bullish SMTs previously. Looking around, seeing what else we can see. There to there, there to there. No bullish SMT in that regard. We swept a little bit of liquidity. Kind of looking more at this high where we at the moment currently have ever so slightly. I don't like to call those SMTs if they're just by like a tick or two. The more obvious, the better in terms of a bearish SMT. But given that right there, gosh. 500 tick stop loss if that inverts. Like, what does that even equate to? I can't do the math in my head. You know? $270 on one micro. Wow. There's our new week opening gap. Is it consequent encroachment? or mean threshold. I think mean threshold is order blocks. I think consequent encroachments gaps, if I remember correctly. So we're right there, just hovering around the new week opening gap. Clear off these. We're at the gold block high right there. I almost want to check this range. So we got, these are also gold back levels. So here look at this, like opens, this hourly candle probably has no tail. So that to me is even, right there, that to me is telling me no wick on the hourly candle. We're forming the wick, right? Power of 3. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I don't like any of this enough to trade, even on my eval. So let's do this. I'm just going to switch over to paper. Go 30. What was it? Let's do 5. Are we checking? Let's see. We're still in the macro. At this point, I'm expecting this to become an inversion. Probably won't even give me an entry. But we'll see. Yeah, look at that. It's going to dive for these. Oh, that ticked up. Come on. Those right there. Still have these. Which it's bummer. I don't want to go short into this accumulation range necessarily, but that's what it's telling me. I'm gonna look on my other time frames. Ooh, the 15 minutes, not that great looking now that I look above us. That's pretty rangy. Oh, now we do have a small wick on the 1 hour candle. Huge 5-minute rejection. Don't we have more equal lows? Yeah, we got these down here. One minute left in this macro. Let's see. I don't know. I'm only about 55% confident in this short, which is why we're on paper, in conjunction with the sheer size of these candles. But it's not going to give it, I don't think. 110. This is our lunch range. So lunch high was taken. Turn that off, have one less drawing on the chart. And it could save these equal lows for later too. It hasn't closed below this inversion. I'm looking here at this hourly open. Hourly open, then I can turn this one off. And really, there is relative equal highs here. Relative equal highs here. I really like the track that's going on. Okay. Everything bad. I don't want to hear that. Always happy. There we go. That's a track I do want to hear. I don't want to hear everything's bad. I want to hear everything's happy. Life's too short for bad. Yeah, I don't like the look for shorts. What I'd like to see that's what I would like to see, and I'd like to long that. I don't have any gold box levels down until below the accumulation range, though. Not a deal breaker, but you'll notice, gosh, I hope it's not slow on the stream. Oh well, it's more for my record than anything else. Just to be able to come back and look at this, look at my emotions, look at where I went, got emotional or made bad decisions or FOMO'd or those kind of things. It's the only reason why I'm recording this. Keeps me calmer. Is that a tailless candle? No. Super bullish reaction to this, so it didn't ever become, that became an inversion. Do we have any SMT on that? Doesn't look like it. Kind of a synthwave kind of mix. I don't know if I care for this. What else do we got? Just want to kind of some lo-fi. Don't like the bass. I don't like that. So we had liquidity grab, no SMT. Closing above that, I kind of see that as a breaker. We have this as an inversion, equal highs. It's possible that that was the grab, so I'm okay taking this on paper. I would probably be sitting sidelined, or I am sidelined on an eval even, so this just isn't what I consider high probability conditions. Like, look at that candle. It's just bolting past, closing to 1. It's just going to rage probably. So let's see here. Trades back down a little bit, if at all, on top of that breaker. I almost see that as the look. This is, I really don't want to long in this gold box zone right there. I'd prefer to be a little bit above it. I'd prefer that did take internal liquidity. So this could be like a 1-to-1 kind of trade, let's say. Really don't expect it to come below here. If I do, I'm wrong. If it does, I'm wrong. Dollars is fine on paper. Prefer ticks with. So yeah, we have this inversion, this fair value gap. I could even do that. One-to-one. Gets that far away from my entry. I'm protecting it to at least break even. Because if it goes like that and it comes back, it's going to come back down deeper than I would care. Not saying it's not a good trade, but it might retrace way back down into the discount of this range and then continue on. Yeah, see that rejection? I don't like that. Looks like we do have a fair value gap here on the 30-second chart. Forming some equal highs up here. And it might come back down and right there, and that's fine. I'm okay with it if it stops me out of break even and continues on. If it closes above that, let's see here. Of a 15-second SIST if it closed up there, but it might come back down on the discount. Look at that right there. Oh, no, no, no. The 30-second and 15-second candles are like 1-minute candles last week. Three-quarters of the way to TP. What else do we got here? A little volume imbalance right there. And that's a BPR, actually. Look at that. It's gonna go. It's gonna go. Look at that. Come on. Swept that equal high. Right there. Does it leave these equal highs for later? some high resistance right there relative to these candles, making it look like it wanted to pop up, you know, at least up into here. Kind of like a saxophone kind of, I don't like that. What else do we got? Jazz for streaming. Could check it. I'm all for jazz. As long as it's not too heavy on the saxophone. Stuff to keep calm. I don't like music that affects my emotion a ton. Look at that right there. Resisting. Took those equal highs, left more equal highs. It probably wants to come back down into discount and continue on. So we'll see. Just kind of tape reading at the moment. So notice the hourly open. Gosh, you barely put a tail on that candle. And that's one of two things. It means that this is going to be bullish as heck. Or we're forming the wick of the 1 hour candle right now. Right? So like this is going to become the wick and it's going to slam down. Too much on the trumpet for me. That's high resistance right there. Look at this. 1 hour candle is a 1200 tick range. Like that's the range of a day normally on the NQ. Unreal. However many 10 minutes of just sitting here. Oh, order filled. Look at that. So I guess it was I got in on this candle. Yeah. I mean, I could have suffered a little bit of drawdown. I just didn't see that volume imbalance. I would have stuffed my stop loss below that volume imbalance, which is inaccurately placed. But hey, W. So we took those equal highs. So now Just isn't nice looking at all. It's not wanting to move, which means it's going to move in a little bit. Could just be a PM consolidation. The 15 is not looking great. One hour is just one stage delivery. Maybe I'll go over there real quick. So 5 minutes consolidating, 15 minutes consolidating. 1 hour just has a one stage delivery where we're just kind of, there is a swing in there, not obvious, but obviously the wick, well, not obviously, but the wick is the swing. But you're going to see it's more just up, 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 up. And then still have 33 minutes to close this 4 hour candle. But with such a bearish rejection off of that, we'll see what we get. I'm just going to turn the lunch back on just to help me frame it in my head. Yeah, it's just a weird looking profile to me. I guess if we think about lunch from even here, it's possible we take these equal highs and sink down for those. But with all of this, high resistance liquidity right there, like I got nothing, even if it did at the moment, there's nothing to sink my teeth into, so. Just gonna sit and watch. All right, patience, patience pays. Oh, I'm not showing you the right chart. I'm over here on this screen. There we go. That's what I was saying. This high resistance liquidity run right here, I got nothing to sink my teeth into for a model. Which is fine, don't have to trade. I already did this morning. Gosh, there's just equal lows everywhere. I would like to see when I see equal lows everywhere. That's when I like to see a real obvious purge. Like down here where it took this candle took these equal lows and just by a few ticks and then went up. Don't like to see that because you got now it's still relatively equal lows right there. Equal lows here, equal lows here. You know, I wanted to see it go bam, nicely into discount and then continue up. So it's kind of more what I'd be looking for. Oh, and then here we go. So that trade was a winner. My demo trade. Just like all the Furus. Equal highs taken. Now this kind of could form a bearish setup for me, which is a little bit more against my bias. 4 hour. I don't know. We making any SMT up here? Let's see. Not really there. Is that hourly? Oh yeah, that hourly candle does have a tail. Forgot about that. So yeah, I don't really see much SMT, any SMT on the bearish side. All this trend line liquidity now, right there. Some of this stream-friendly background music is not very great. And I suppose that's why it's free stream-friendly stuff, huh? There's a couple tracks I checked out that were like, okay. I was like, I could have that playing while I trade because I like having music. So just obviously don't want to play copyright music. There is a 15-minute fair value gap. Gosh, this is laggy. Bummer. Don't really want to restart things. But maybe that's my sign between the price action and the browser lagging. Like, look at this. I'm sitting here dragging this over, trying to get it to do it. And TradingView was like that this morning. There were people reporting lag and outages on TradingView, but we have this 15-minute fair value gap. I don't know why that's interesting. Like who's we? There is a 15-minute fair value gap on the NASDAQ, right? But hey, I'm here tape reading and learning. That's the most important thing. More important than getting trades in is just learning, right? For me, getting practice, slowly working on mastering the craft. All right. Ultimately, as long as we're above this accumulation range, the mean threshold of that, I'm bullish. I would totally short down into these equal lows and then out of there. So I'd be short-term bearish from what I'm seeing. Medium-term bullish and then higher time frame bearish. Although how high do I think it might go on the medium time frames? Because maybe that objective's been met. We rejected from the 4-hour fair value gap. So far, 24 minutes left on the 4-hour candle. Over there. There's just so much buy side to take. And I guess that's where I don't have to know necessarily where the higher time frames are going. I need to know where the 4-hour and the 1-hour is going. The 1-hour is unclear. You know, Now this sharp rejection was a very bullish signature. This sharp rejection on this wick is a very bearish signature. And then the lower time frames, the 15 and the 5, just don't look great. That's probably one I shouldn't trade. This is just doing one-sided delivery, which actually, going back to this screen, we can test that out by, so here we have an inversion, a stop hunt. We have a tailless candle. Close above that order block or even that inversion. Consider that a continuation trade. So sure, you can trade into trading down into that. There's that inversion. We just took liquidity on the buy side though. But hey, we'll try it out. So there's this. I kind of saw this out of the corner of my eye. It's a continuation model. Well, with this lag on my browser, I'm probably shouldn't be doing this. Inversion fair value gap. We had a little internal liquidity sweep. Sell side minor. Could tighten it up some, but fine enough. Equal highs were just taken, which that means I'm either right or I'm probably right or I'm probably wrong. I know that wasn't the clearest thing, but what I'm meaning is, had I actually noticed that the equal highs were just taken, I might have considered that a little more. Because I look for equal highs to be taken for either A, targets, which it's met its objective, or B, a liquidity sweep of equal highs and then a reversal. But, you know, so at this point, with what I'm seeing, tighten up the stop to the gap. Shouldn't come below that by much. What do we have for targets? Because we're above the gold box levels, hoopla ranges. So we do have, you know, could reject from this gap here too in premium of this range. Same kind of thing, just playing with this. I see that kind of halfway to TP, and I want to move my stop to break even. Not that it couldn't come down and retest this order block, or I guess it's a breaker, because it has a swing high and a swing low. So that's a high probability breaker with an inversion. Oh, out. And this will probably go out at break even. Moving my stop to break even was working pretty well the last couple of days. And that I wouldn't get stopped out before it ran to my target. So, but in these kind of conditions, I'm fine with break even for now. Maybe not forever. Ooh, high. Okay, so that shows me right there I thought it was just going to go, and it still might, but just grinding up, barely doing anything. That's so high resistance. I don't want much to do with that at all. I'm going to stick around for a minute or two, see whether it would have gotten my stop or my take profit first, and then I'm going to call it, because between the browser being slow and this, I just don't even want to mess around in here. So it didn't tap the inversion, which I think that's where I would have moved my stop up to. So something like that. It's retesting the breaker. Mean threshold of the breaker, probably. So here, had I not moved my stop up to break even, I probably would have collapsed the trade. Just seeing I didn't want to be a part of this, having a little bit of profit. I wouldn't have cared if it hit TP or not. It looks like it wants to just kind of run. That's the vibe I'm getting. It wants to run up just without giving entries or anything like that, and then slap right back down. That's the vibe I got. Retesting this order block right here. Maybe leaving a fair value gap. Maybe not. Let's see. 37 seconds left on that candle. Nice bullish response. Wonder where my paper trading account is at. Let's see. Plus 15,000. I took a trade this morning. It was a $2,000 loss on this paper account because I didn't have any. I was on my phone. I was just messing around. Or not messing around, but I tend to be a little looser with a paper trading account. I'll do it on my phone. And I entered with 10 micros like I might normally, and it ended up being a $2,000 risk when I normally thought it would be like, 500. And so the count was up to 17,000 this morning. And look at that, we're coming up to TP1. Anyway, just kind of fun. So, boom, 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 push, push, push. And this is kind of what I'm learning now to do more of, is getting in on this kind of one-sided delivery. This is not pretty. And I wouldn't have traded this with an eval even, probably. But like, the reversal can happen. Sometimes you can't get in, and then I feel stressed because it's like, cool, I missed the reversal and now I got to wait till next session or next day maybe sometimes. And that's a little stressful, and it can cause me to FOMO in. Order filled. Look at that TP hit on that trade. So I've been learning to get in on these continuations. Which I've been doing. I'd been studying the afternoon profiles and continuation profiles anyways, and then I was listening to Hydra, and he's been doing the same thing, studying continuations and trending profiles and applying the inversion breaker stop hunt model, kind of like this, which I've been doing. I've been calling this a continuation model. I just may or may not have always hit it because it wasn't a reversal, like us ICT traders love. We love our reversals. But what is the market doing a good portion of the time? It's trending. And especially the last week or two, the NASDAQ has just been getting into moods. Oh, look at that rejection. See, that's why I like 1-to-1 on these kind of things. Boom. Anyways, I think I'm done. Lagging browser and 2 break-even trades, that's enough, and a high resistance liquidity run. So I'll look at the chart later maybe.